Some of this little ice, chance of a little freezing rain. The four-wheel drive tires, I don't give you a brand new tires, probably not going to do very well in that ice. They're going to be slipping and sliding. But we're talking tires now, especially when you talk about the snow. Maybe it's time for your tires to be replaced or do a little maintenance. Were you slipping and sliding last night? Lane Adams here now from Tire Discounters. Like that. Everybody sings that little jingle to you?
Absolutely.
They
love it.
They like it? Okay. Lane, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Okay, let's talk about number one. The tread. Give us the friendly reminder. How can we tell if the tread is bad? Because will that affect the way you're driving in winter weather and snow?
Absolutely. Your tread depth, usually from about half to new, is much better. Once you get to the halfway point, you start to lose your adverse weather and wet weather traction.
Okay, I'm going to put this up here, and you show me what we mean by about tread here. And we can point it out right here. Are we looking right in here?
Yes, these are your tread grooves.
Okay.
And you can do a penny test yourself at home.
I've heard about that.
With Lincoln's head, and you just stick it in there. And if you see the bottom of Lincoln's head, your tire's definitely worn out. But you can swing by any of our stores, and you can, we'll put a tread depth gauge in there and actually measure it for you and give you an exact reading. And once you and I were talking about checking air pressures too.
Well, yeah, and especially with these temperatures, up and down. We were down to 6, 7 below, or 6, 7 above the other morning. We're down to 20 today. Going to warm up a little bit. Tire pressure. What are some of the negative effects that can have while driving in the snow if the tire pressure's low?
Yeah, well, when you're talking about less tread and low tire pressure, it can definitely affect the traction of your tires. So, yeah, you want to make sure you've got at least half tread and your pressures, whatever. There's a placard inside most cars.
Yeah, right down in the door jamb, right?
And it tells you what your proper tire pressure should be. So you can swing by or check it yourself, and that's what you want to set them at. And with the fluctuation, it's about a pound per every 10 degrees.
What's the biggest
fluctuation?
What's the biggest issue that you're going to have if you have low? I mean, are you going to lose control of the car more? I mean, there's a huge safety issue there.
Yeah, because the sidewalls aren't going to be able to give you as much support as they should, so it could affect your handling some.
How about when you look at a tire, when you go around the car, and of course it's hard right now because everything's so dirty and
right.
whatnot. Do you just do a look and say, does my tire look good? I mean, could there be little dents and little nails that kind of get into it driving through a construction site? I mean, are there threats there about getting a blowout if you just look at the tire and go, you know what? Tire doesn't look pretty. There could be something wrong with it.
Absolutely. And that's, you can look at it, do a visual inspection or swing and see a professional, and we'd be glad to check them over for you, especially in this bad weather.
Are people still doing back in the day, it was the winter tires and the summer tires?
Some people do. It really depends on the type of vehicle.
Okay.
Some of the cars have really low-profile tires that are fat, and they don't dissipate the snow very well. But in those kind of cars, probably recommend doing a set of snow tires with. Snow and ice tires, technology has gotten so much better.
So much better. What about alignments?
Absolutely. You want to keep up on your alignment. I recommend checking it at least a couple of times a year.
How do you know if the alignment's bad? I mean, is it the old trick, if you take your hands off the wheel in the car, darts off to the right?
That's only one symptom of misalignment. Okay. So, we do free alignment checks.
Yeah.
And you want to check it because the toe angle, which is the front of the tires, in or out, could be out. And that won't cause a pull, but it'll cause your tires to wear, quickly.
Yeah, I mean, if your tires are good, you're going to keep them. Just kind of tune them up a little bit. But it's important. It's probably the most important part of your car, besides having gas in it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Where the rubber meets the road is not just a saying.
There you go. There you go. And again, just going over a couple of these. We already talked about some of these here. Do you really need them? Know the tire specs. Know the type you need. Purchase a full set of tires. And let's talk about the spare. And some cars, my older car I didn't realize I never had a spare in it until I had something that happened on the way to work. I blew a tire, and they come out, and I had no spare. Do people get confused in that? Everybody thinks you automatically have a spare.
Right, and especially now, the newer model cars are not coming with spare tires.
Is it because of the run flaps and all that? Or
no, it's because of the CAF standards, trying to meet EPA standards for fuel economy.
Okay.
So they have to lighten up cars somehow to try to get there.
That's a very important note.
So they offer it as an option, which it's an expensive option, or you can just go buy a regular full-size tire and wheel and make your own spare, but a lot of the cars don't have the compartment for the spare
anymore. If you get new tires and they go, okay, well, this tire's still kind of decent, Could you use an older tire for a spare?
Absolutely.
Okay, so-
Just as long as the DOT number, which is on here, and it tells you the week and the year of the tire when it was built. You don't want to put anything back there that's over 6 years old.
Okay, that's good information. It's like, you know, buying baby equipment or buying, you know, certain stuff, anything safety. You want to make sure that it's fairly new because, you know, you never know there could be a recall or whatnot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very good. Okay, hey, good to see you.
Always
Good
a
information. Of
pleasure.
course, tire discounters are all over the place, right?
Absolutely.
How many locations here in town?
Here in town, gosh, 30.
Wow, there you go.
We're up to 103 stores. I mean,
That's fabulous.
We're
That's
going
fabulous.
south.
That's fabulous. And my final question, do you always have to pay the big price for a good tire or?
You get what you pay for.
Right.
You know, it just depends on what your budget dictates, really.
Okay.
You know, if you got a nicer, newer car or young, I've got premium tires on my car.
Yeah, yeah.
And I could, you know,
Don't-
I pay the extra money for them also.
Don't spare the expense there if you can afford it. Okay, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Good information.